Miggity mic check 1 2 1 2. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Ooh, I'm tongue tied already. To the Hawaii Comedy with James Mane podcast. See, I'm already answering text messages as I get started. It's very unprofessional of me, but if you know me, you know I'm very unprofessional. But anyways, I am the comedian James Mane. Thank you guys for joining the live. We actually got a few minutes before we were supposed to start, but just wanted to go on live and see if we can get people to jump in. Anyways, we have a special guest today, so today's it's pretty exciting for me. Okay, so I'll explain when we get started. Let's pay some bills here real quick. Let's see here. Okay, all right. You guys see this shirt? This beautiful shirt. Thank you to the people at Oahu Golf Apparel. You can visit them at oahugolfapparel.com. Get these lovely, beautiful shirts. They make hats, t-shirts, and golf accessories, and they're locally produced here in Honolulu, Hawaii. They offer fun, stylish activewear for on or off the golf course. Make Oahu Golf Apparel a part of your game. The reason why I like this shirt, first of all, I'm 6'7", 400 pounds, so this is a size 6X. They make shirts for people my size. Not only that, it's nice and cool. It's flexible. If I was to do yoga, which I should start one day, I could because it's very flexible. And you don't even have to. You don't put them in the dryer either. You wash them and then you hang them and it's good to go. You can even wear them wet. It dries really fast. I haven't done that yet, but I was told that you could. So oahugolfapparel.com. Pay them a visit. Also, ComedyUHI.com. Comedy U Hawaii. They do tons of comedy shows here in Honolulu, and we'll be branching out to other parts of the state. Visit them at ComedyUHI.com or follow them on Instagram, ComedyU.hi on Instagram, on Facebook. I'm not sure if they have a Twitter. I should know these things because they're a sponsor. But I do a lot of shows with them. I'm performing every Tuesdays at Slack Key Lounge in Hawaiian Brian's with Comedy U Hawaii. We have a show coming up April 1st, April Fool's Day at Blue Note. So I'll be performing in that as well. Busy, busy, busy. All right, let's get this show started.
Live from the middle of the Pacific Ocean, it's Hawaii Comedy with your host, James Mane.
Island days, clear blue water, and mountain ranges and dancing daughters. I can't get enough of these island days. Won't you take me back to Honolulu? Yeah, that surf is high and I am too. Sing songs all night long. I'm living these island days. Oh, they told me not to fall in love, but I just could not help myself. Oh, I missed my flight again. I was sleeping here with my new friend. Oh, yeah. Island days, clear blue water, and mountain ranges and beautiful daughters. Yeah. I can't get enough of these island days.
Oh, I love that song. Give it up for Tavana, ladies and gentlemen. You can follow him at Tavana808.com. Find him, go to his website, find out where he's performing. I think he's performing tonight at Workplay. I think I was talking to Tumua Tuine, and he was telling me I think that he's doing something there with another comedian friend of ours, Zach Mama. So if you don't come out to my show, go check out their show. Tavana808.com. You can find out where he's performing, find his merch. listen to his music. You can either purchase it from him or you can listen streaming on Spotify or even on YouTube. That's Tavana, ladies and gentlemen. I want to say thank you to him for allowing me to use his music. Really appreciate it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the moment you've been waiting for, allow me to introduce my special guest today. See, I was trying to figure out, do I say doctor or do I do the lieutenant governor? He put in lieutenant governor. So, ladies and gentlemen, help me welcome the lieutenant governor, Josh Green.
Hey, aloha, James. Thanks for having me. That was awesome. That song from Tavana.
Yeah, I love his song. It's he's very unique. So I know you're a fan of the Green. I don't know if it's because obviously they have great music, but if it's because it's the same name, so or but Tavana's very unique amongst the artists here in Hawaii.
Yeah, that was just, his riff was great. I do dig the Green. Their T-shirts are very convenient for me and the family. There's no doubt about that. It's not necessarily about weed, although I'm trying to be down, but overall, I really appreciate all those performers. I mean, it is hard to be a performer. So really props to you and to everybody who puts it out there, because it is not easy to be on all the time. So awesome stuff.
Thank you. And speaking of performing, just saw your post with your colleague, the governor, Mr. Ige, performing with Jake Shimabukuro, right, at Blue Note. Was that recently, or like today, or was that last night?
Yeah, that was like just a couple days ago. I don't know if the gov took some pills and chilled out, but it was incredible. I mean, this was a slightly different side of the gov that we've seen, and I sent him a text. I was like, "Way to be, gov," because that was kind of amazing, And
Yeah.
we're all feeling a little bit better because coming down off of COVID and people's lives are coming back to them, and seeing people that we love getting down with the ukulele. I mean, even the gov, I was a bit stunned, but hey, give a guy kudos when he does that kind of thing. That was great.
Yeah, I was like, okay, so obviously, he's not very popular amongst the people of the state, and because the whole COVID mask and all of that, yada yada. But I think if he would come out with an ukulele every press conference and perform like that, people might take it different. Like, take the medicine with a little bit of sugar and.
Yeah, I will. I'll tell the gov to play the ukulele at the next press conference, because that was the bomb. And sometimes you just have to have a little bit of light spirit going when times are heavy. So that was good. It really is about communication. Interestingly, a lot of people were scared, and when you were able to calm people down, and whether it's music or humor, that's very valuable. One day we wrote WTF on the board when we were doing something particularly annoying in the state, and actually people felt relieved that we were just coming clean, So it takes a little bit of that, some days.
So that's part of, like, I guess what I wanted to let me just give you your flowers first of all. And what I mean by that is the things that you have done that impressed me as a person. Not so much as a performer, but as a human being, I guess. I remember the earliest things that I remember of you was you holding signs, or a sign. I don't know if you were running for state senate or if you were running for Congress, but outside on Punchbowl Street, outside of Queens Hospital, in your scrubs, like you were on lunch break and decided, hey, let me go hold a sign and see if I can get some votes. I was a city bus driver at the time, and I drove the number 4, which came down that street. I always honk and I always wave at anybody, whoever's running. They're out there. It's not a comfortable situation, but seeing that, I was like, and pardon my French. There we go. Seeing that, I was like, that's one crazy howlie right there. Seeing you out there, I think almost every day, holding your sign out there. Well, do you remember what that was for?
I lost sound from you, my brother. Let me try to get it back.
All right.
My apologies.
I hear
James.
you.
Let's see.
No worries. Let me see if I can.
Can you hear me, my brother?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me? Oh, we lost. So we lost the feed. I'm not sure. I'm sure we'll get him back. Let's see here. Oh, there he is.
Russians trying to block me from communicating.
I think so.
With you and your listeners. I'm sorry about that.
Anything with .gov, they're trying to hack that. But what I was saying was seeing you hold signs out there, the hustle, the grind, and it's something I've always respected. Growing up blue collar with a father that worked very hard to raise 4 hungry Samoan kids, and a mother that worked hard as well. You being from Pittsburgh, understand blue collar workers. And seeing that, and I respected that. I was like, man, there is a person that, you can say what you want, like, oh, crazy guy or wishful thinking. Look at this. But I saw that. I was like, man, that is awesome. Do you remember what I'm talking about, where you're holding signs by yourself out there?
Yes, there were some semi-lonely days. Don't feel bad for me, though. I like being out there. You get a feel for what the energy is in the state when you're out with people. It's kind of my thing. So, I put on scrubs. I'm in the ER or out there sign waving, whatever. It's just, it's kind of the way you need to approach it in our state. If you can't connect to people, you're really not doing it right. But I'm not sure I remember the actual day that you drove by me in the bus, because I've seen some buses every day, but I appreciate it because it was, you're out there and, contributing to skin cancer and whatnot, but it's heartfelt when people beep at you or whatever, and people tend to be very nice. I mean, some people will give you the finger, and I get it because it's been a rough go, but on the whole, it's really nice to get a shocker from people and make eye contact. You'd be amazed. Mm-hmm. A little bit of eye contact goes a really long way between politicians who may be inaccessible versus somebody who actually is willing to go and spend time. So if I'm out there in the future sign waving, just stop in and hang out. It'd be great.
Yeah, and another thing was when there was a measles outbreak in Samoa, or formerly known as Western Samoa, and you went down there to help out. And I was like, man, so to me, I didn't see, being, in working for the public, people see the politician. I saw a doctor, so that's why I was like Lieutenant Governor Dr. Josh Green, because so many hats that you wear, it should be recognized. And I saw a doctor saying, hey, there's people that need help.
We were on the phone with the director of health from Samoa, and right at that same moment, the prime minister, who's kind of a wild one, said, hey, we're going to shut down the whole country and vaccinate everybody. And she said to me and my team, hey, could you stay, instead of coming down with 5 people, come down with 100? And I thought, well, I can't imagine we can succeed, but we'll try. We'll try to help. Measles was breaking out everywhere. And so by the next morning, we put out the word that we'd like volunteers. By the next morning, we had 485 volunteers that were willing to go to Samoa to vaccinate the people. And then Hawaiian Airlines gave us a free plane, and PAR gave us free gasoline, and my uncle and I bought about $5,000 of beer, which was good and worth it. And then someone gave us 50,000 vaccinations to give out, and we flew with about a team of maybe 80 people. We flew down, and in 36 hours, we were able to vaccinate 36,997 beautiful people.
Wow.
Pretty much an unbelievable experience. We actually saw some children pass away, right?
Ooh.
Right before our eyes because they were very sick. But we also found out that 6 days later, the measles epidemic just stopped. And that was kind of the moment that my team of Brooke and my wife, Jamie, and I, Jamie's local girl from Kaneohe, lawyer here, I married her a long time ago. We felt that you could do anything in Hawaii if you really reach out to people. And this was not about ideology. It wasn't about politics. It wasn't about anything except that some people were sick and somebody could help. So it really was a special experience, you know, and we'll do it again and again. You know, whatever people need, we'll go for.
Yeah, and to be honest, with COVID happening, that had a direct effect on me. Where you posted, you talked about an outreach that was vaccinating Pacific Islanders, and I saw that post. And I saw it like maybe an hour after you posted, because I was following your whiteboard updates, you know, every day, which I loved very much, and I started calling, you know, commenting on them. And when I saw that, I was like, oh yeah, finally I get to go and get vaccinated, and I did. I was scared. I was scared that COVID was, you know, was going to affect me and my family, because seeing a lot of Samoans, friends and family that were getting sick and passing away, it was, you know, and especially I'm a large person and Pacific Islander. If I get it, I'm, you know, susceptible. So a lot of two of my best friends, Chad Wago and Hinano Atkins, I remember them talking me through it, like, okay, you know, you're having a panic attack. You know, what you need to do is look around you, see what's real, and calm down, focus on your breathing, which is rare for, I think, a stand-up comedian to have a panic attack, because we internalize everything, we self-analyze, and we pretty much, you know, we kind of hold it together for the most part, especially when we're talking amongst, you know, in front of other people. But they noticed that I was panicky, and then when I saw that post, I went, got vaccinated, got the second vaccine, got boosted. You know, right now it's the possible second boost. But I was telling my cousin who works with that outreach group, and Fele, who works with that outreach group, that, you know, that probably saved my life. You know, seeing that post probably saved my life. You know, there's people that disagree.
It's okay. Look, first of all, James, we don't like to call you large. We like to call you powerful in our office. Okay. Like, so we got that going. And then on top of it, it's very real. You know, I got a cousin of mine who's a rabbi, and she has panic attacks all the time. It's crazy, you know, because life can be tough, and she's out in front of people all day long. So, you know, this is very real. Nobody should feel sensitive or ashamed at all. This is something that you couldn't possibly imagine was going to happen. And whether it was the virus or the impact of the virus and having to kind of lay low for 2 years and not know whether you could see your parents, whether you know, your baby's first birthday was going to come and go and you'd be there for them. I mean, these are real things. And so I just want to send love out to people who were either for or against vaccines, for or against masks. I mean, the point is, you know, Hawaii really is Nohana, and coming together is important. People were jacking me up pretty bad when I was at the, you know, kind of the peak of communications, trying to do what I do, protesting out in front of my house. And that's okay, you know, because I recognize that it was a scary time for people. And one thing I learned through that part of the pandemic when that was going on was that fear and all of our regular human apprehension has to be acknowledged, and we should respect one another on both sides of this thing, because we're going to have other crises in the future that my team and I will be here to help with, perhaps. And so we'll just come together. I mean, we're out here kind of by ourselves in Hawaii. No one else seems to know what the heck we're doing in Hawaii from the mainland or anywhere else. We got something special here. We have, you know, I'm married to a Mormon. I'm Jewish. You know, it's mayhem at home. Everyone's got different beliefs and systems. And, hey, man, we're still popping out kids and doing our thing, right? And so we do something special here in Hawaii. So I think, you know, sooner or later, people are going to catch on. But we want to show our love for people when we come off of this pandemic. And that's got to be a big part of the recovery, too.
I like that, how that's like your way of saying we're okay. It's like, you know, I'm Jewish. My wife is Mormon. But we're okay because we're popping out kids. So,
yeah, man, we've got a hybrid thing going right now, and so it's working for us, you know. Yeah. And a lot of people, I'll tell you. I mean, I've seen some crazy mixes, and they come out beautiful. you know.
We are a melting pot. Before I continue, I just wanted to share this with the listeners and those who are watching live. We are under a stressful time. I always share this phone number because we care about you, and I'm sure I speak for Lieutenant Governor Dr. Josh Green. If you feel like you need to talk to somebody, please, and you feel like you might want to hurt yourself, please don't. Call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-TALK. I also want to share, Lieutenant Governor posted this on his Instagram. If you are in crisis with depression, addiction, or other life challenges and need help, reach out to Hawaii Cares, a free mental health and substance use call center. Call from any island. That's 808-832-3100. That's 808-832-3100 from any island. Sometimes you just need somebody to talk to. We all feel like we're alone, but we're not. Like Doctor is saying, we're all one ohana. We all can help out each other, whether we believe in this or believe in that. I think for the most part, we're all human beings and we care about each other, and we all want to have relationships with family and friends. So if you're feeling a little down, I got a hold of Lieutenant Governor through Instagram. So, reach out. He hit me up too on Instagram. We're glad to help anybody out. So thank you guys. Going forward, we do have something in common, sir. You were raised in Pittsburgh.
Yes.
I was not raised in Pittsburgh, but I did live in Pittsburgh, and I gotta say I love Pittsburgh. How long were you there? Because I know you were born. Is it New York?
Yeah, I was born in Woodstock, New York, upstate. During the concert era, that was 1970, right after the Woodstock concert. So I was in utero during that concert. So there was probably some chemicals seeping through my body, through my mom and dad. But born upstate New York during Woodstock, and then moved to Pittsburgh. And I was kind of raised there. I had a great experience growing up. There were some challenges. I was deaf when I was born, and they didn't know for about 2 years what was going on. And ultimately, really good healthcare professionals figured it out. And I had surgeries, got my hearing back, and had great parents and great public school teachers. So that got me back, and Pittsburgh is one of those cities where, people look out for each other too. Really good place. So I've always felt lucky. It's kind of why I went to medicine, and had I not gotten to go to into medical school and medicine, I would have never come to Hawaii, because I got a scholarship to come to be the doctor in Kau on the Big Island, So, I fit right in Big Island in Kau because, I was just like everybody else, which is not really, usual. So I was isolated, and I loved it out there, and I had all these opportunities, but Pittsburgh was the road for me. Go figure, Right.
And you're a big Steelers fan. I see you wearing the jersey every now and then.
Yes.
How do you feel about that? Do you follow the team?
Oh man, I'll show you in the background. Look at that. I got a terrible towel on the wall. So
is that
yes,
Franco Harris?
And Franco Harris is a family friend, and Troy Polamalu is like one of my heroes. And he's going to come out and celebrate with us this summer. We're going to have a big party together here. Yeah. So nice. For those who are Samoan, Troy's coming out with his wife Theodora, and they're great. But yeah, we have all these roots. So I got a little bit of black and gold pumping through my veins, but it's mostly Hawaii Warrior time now.
Right,
so
right.
It's something that gives people a sense of self in these different communities, football and sports, and a lot of times, frankly, guys particularly need that to find some identity and where they are, where they come from. We do it in high school here a lot too, whether it's Campbell or Kahuku or whatever. So we get a lot of that going. But yeah, Pittsburgh and Kau after that.
Aiea. You missed Aiea. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. And Aiea.
You don't want to piss off Joe Moore, man.
It's really great. But yeah, that's the kind of stuff. That's the regular stuff, like high school football and my daughter is into swimming and tennis and dance. I mean, these things that bring kids together, that's life. That was the tough part about COVID, which was not being able to be together that way for those kind of things. That's what I really felt badly about. And now we're past that. We're moving into the normal phase again of Hawaii in life. So people should.
Yeah, today I went to Petco to pick up some dog food, and I still use the curbside, which, people talk about the pandemic, and yes, there were a lot of bad things, but I looked for some good things, and curbside check-in, Bite Squad, those things just amazed. Like, my life is so much better with these things in my life. So I went to Petco to pick up dog food, curbside, and the guy comes out with no mask, and I'm still adjusting to that, not needing to wear a mask. And I was like, whoa. First, I looked at him like, why am I seeing your face? Why am I seeing, where's your mask? And I remember, I was like, oh, that's right, it's lifted. So
hey, man, now that we got curbside pet food, we can pretty much acknowledge society has evolved.
Yeah. Now, if we can just get other things, I guess, to come about. So what are some of the things that that help, or that you find that's weird, looking for the silver lining or good things that came out of something horrible like the pandemic? Did you have something that like, oh, yeah, that's cool? Like for me, it's that we can. A lot of people are working from home now. A lot of people, so traffic isn't as bad unless there's construction. But also, before it was just Pizza Hut that delivered or Domino's, but now anybody can deliver. And for me, being a powerful person, I'm thankful for that.
Yes, your powers will be increased significantly with junk food, I suspect. Look, there's a lot that came out of the COVID pandemic that's amazing. Like every single morning, all of the hospitals communicate with me inside of 15 minutes fast to tell me how they're doing and where people are sick, where they're not. We never had people talking like that. They used to compete, and that broke down a serious barrier. I mean, it's incredible. These are people I could not get in the same room in the past. Now they're like friends saying, hey, I got this capacity or this service, and if you're having a hard time, we'll help you. And big and small hospitals alike are doing that. I mean, that's just pretty amazing. I see that as a big change. There's technology changes. People are going to get healthcare, through telehealth. There's going to be possibilities to work from home more or, streamline work. I know that some people wonder if in America we work too hard and work too many days and we don't spend enough time with our loved ones. Maybe that's what we'll do. Maybe we won't waste so much money on fancy office buildings. Maybe we'll figure out a way to share, which we had to do when we were all afraid of infecting and killing each other with COVID, right? So, I mean, these are some positives. And I'll tell you, it changed things really fast. Before the pandemic, you could never get a doctor to take care of you online. Now, 50% are willing to do it. I mean, that was in one thing. Everybody learned that. And I could never communicate with anybody. Nobody wanted to hear what I was talking about. And then I did that crazy whiteboard. Now there's like a couple 100,000 people watching it. And you can just imagine what that does. I mean, some people are grumpy, but it's okay. You can really communicate now. So it's all good. It's a big change.
I think you found the power of social media. Like, I know you had one of my friends, Tumo Tuine, on one of your videos doing the whiteboard, and him as well. The power of social media. We talk about it all the time. Me, him, and other comedian Graham Elwood, Jose Dynamite. We talk about it a lot. We're like, if you have the followers on social media, you can get a lot of things done, or even sell tickets. And so I'm still working on that. I know we're getting close to running out of time, but I did want to pitch you some ideas since I have you on. Okay. First, let me ask you this one question that somebody was talking to me about, and I think it was a good question. Before I start pitching you ideas, so when you're Dr. Josh Green at the hospital, and somebody calls you Lieutenant Governor, do you correct them? Like, no, it's look at my name tag. It's Doctor right now. I'm Doctor right now, Dr. Green.
It happens a lot. Really, I'll tell you exactly what I tell them. I tell them, just call me Josh. Don't worry about it. And I just want you to get well, because they're probably having a heart attack or got some kind of hemorrhoid bleeding or something or whatever. And I don't want them to suffer, And so I just want them to feel comfortable and at ease. So
he's like, wait a minute. I know I have a lot of pain back here from this hemorrhoid attack, but is it Dr. Green or is it Lieutenant Governor Green? No, it's just Josh.
It freaks people out a little bit. Because we were wearing masks, it was a little easier, but I've been out there some, I think, and, so people did get to know me a little better. I mean, they got to know me and Jamie and Maya and Sam really well. But yeah, that happens. I have people come into the ER sometimes now without health problems. They want to hang out and talk about politics, which is unusual because I'm afraid the insurance company is going to bill them and they're not going to get their money's worth. I could tell you, because I'm not that interesting when I'm in the ER on shift, up a couple of days in a row. But that happens. It's good. You know what? A lot of people need a little bit of warmth, and if they want to talk, we'll talk. People should call me my cell phone. They do that. Hit me on Instagram, whatever. I appreciate that. If someone's really in crisis, I want them to know my cell. It's 937-0991, and they'll get me. Okay. Text me or whatever. And I just think that we got to break down some of these barriers, and we're in a state that you actually can do it. Maybe not be able to do that in New York or California or Texas, but in Hawaii we can. And maybe that's what we learned from COVID. We learned how valuable it was to actually be able to communicate, see each other when we weren't allowed to do it.
That's what it seems like. It seems like the two points that you made had to do with communication. So, and they say that's the key to a successful relationship, in whether it's marriage or parent and child or friendship. And I agree with you. Yeah, I appreciate you giving out your number. Is that that's not your personal number, is it? I mean,
yeah, that's my cell.
One cell phone.
No, that's my personal cell. Yeah.
Okay, so you're going to get a lot of phone calls, people who's going to ask you for your Cash App or something like that.
That's right. At least all the powerful Samoans are going to call, I hope, because they're cool people.
Yeah. And then, are you a Penguins fan?
I am. Actually, Mario Lemieux hit me with his car one time back in
Really?
Yes, he ran over my foot, technically, when I was running in a snowstorm in my little town outside of Pittsburgh. I was doing my residency, and it was early when I was out there, and slammed into me. And he felt bad. He thought he killed me, but I'm not dead. Just, bruised.
Well, because of his skill and his aiming ability, so that means that was done on purpose. He didn't miss. He got exactly the amount of toes that he was aiming for. So.
That was a major penalty, I think. 5 minutes in the box. You feel shame.
Yes. So one thing with Penguins, and the reason I want to bring it up, I know we're running low on time, but they have the best TV announcer. I forget his name, but his catchphrase, and he had tons of them when the Penguins scored. My sister is a huge Penguins fan, and she got me onto it. And he yells stuff like, "Scratch my back with a hacksaw, Penguins go!" And
he beat him like a rented mule. He would say.
Yeah, see, it was awesome. I wish there was, Kanoalehi, if you can work on those things, I appreciate you. If you could do that, that would be awesome. So here's my pitch, okay? I know you're running out of time. Here's my pitch. So I'm glad you mentioned that, we're working too much. We need to work on, family and relationship with people, communication. And you're running for governor. It's no secret. So I got to put in my 2 cents. What would it take to get a 4-day work week and a 3-day weekend here in Hawaii? I mean, it's kind of jokey, but I think, the weekend goes by so fast for some people, and some people, they're asked to work an extra day on the weekend because if I'm at work, I'll do 10 hours rather than 8 hours and have to come back the 5th day. Is that something that's possible?
Well, you got my cell phone now. You just ask me, and maybe we'll do it.
Yeah.
It's possible. I worked 4-day weeks when I was the doctor in Ka'u, and they were long days, but it did facilitate partying on the weekend. a little bit more when I was young. So that was good. And sometimes you just have to rest your brain, So definitely. And I think the world is changing. Like I've always basically felt if people are productive, let them be, do your job. I appreciate state workers. I appreciate pretty much everybody but comedians, So it's, yeah. Comedians, you're going to work 16-hour days, 6 of them to earn
Most
your
of them
keep.
is sleeping. So here's another pitch. Okay, so Hawaii doesn't have an official comedy club. A lot of the places that we do stand-up comedy, it's like either Blue Note or it's with Comedy U at some bar, whether it's in Hawaiian Brian's or Taqueria El Ranchero in Kapolei. What would it take, to get a Hawaii, like maybe even in the state capitol where all the Congress meet, that round or oval section? If you could do comedy in there, how would that?
I was going to ask you, James. So you're saying you don't consider the state legislature a comedy club as of now? Officially.
There is a lot of comedy, but I would say there's more people in there that would react the way Will Smith reacted when Chris Rock told his joke. There's a lot of face slapping that would probably happen with that crowd.
That was rough. I got to say, at first I thought that was not real. I couldn't believe it. Yeah. But, I guess people are going to scrap sometimes. Probably not the best thing to do during the Oscars, though. But, look, we should have a comedy club. We should have a place for people to decompress. We should have all sorts of things. We should have a little bit of safe road racing. We should have a little bit of just a lot of things that are different for people to enjoy their lives and do it smart. Do different things to take down the edginess, because I think that we should recognize it's been a little tough out there, a little too much violence. People have taken themselves quite seriously during the pandemic. And so any idea that comes from good people like you will be listened to by me. I might put you on mute for a good part of it, but it'll be considered, and it's good. It's really good. So the world changed, the world really changed, and there's going to be new professions for millennials. I got these 2 beautiful kids. I have no idea what they're going to want to do. I keep telling them to be a doctor or something, and I'm not so sure that's happened. They've seen me on call after, 2 days. They're feeling it, So, but maybe we should work 4 days. Maybe we should guarantee everyone housing, period. No BS. Everyone gets housing, and we'll figure it out. You got a lot of good people that want to do the right things.
I'm down with that. And here's my where my big pitch is. Okay, so the reason we should do it is because what's very important now, which wasn't so important back in the 90s and the 80s when we were growing up, is mental health. Mental health is a big issue, and some people are saying that because of Will Smith's reaction was a buildup of a lot of stress over Jada's entanglement and maybe his career, and it just blew up just like that at the Oscars, where kind of put a shadow or a dark cloud over a lot of awesome moments at the Oscars. So if you talk to your people, you say, hey, if they we can't do it, Lieutenant Governor, and you say, hey, mental health, boom, and then like you're right.
Yeah,
big issue.
Chris Rock was being kind of a punk, and if my wife had lost all her hair from alopecia, I'd be pissed if he was getting on her. I have to say, I mean, but hey, they'll hug it out. I assume it was pretty serious television. I think the Japanese caught it on TV. They bleeped us out at first. One of my buddies was there actually at the Academy Awards, so he was freaked when he saw that whole thing go down. But it does tell you that we've gone through a lot, including movie stars who make $35 million a picture and live in 25,000 square foot houses. I think they have felt the stresses too, I guess. And everyone's going to have to chill. But I feel kind of a little bit more sensitive about the people that are living with 2 generations in their own household and working 2 jobs to survive, so those dudes are probably much more likely to smack somebody when someone talks about their bald wife, so
Yes.
yeah.
It was a bad joke. I agree. Chris he does make a lot of jokes at her expense. So yeah, I think he crossed the line, but I would have took care of it after the show. Would have showed my powerful power after the show. I wouldn't have done it during a live show, but I did see it the Japanese feed, and that's how I saw the whole thing. But one last thing. Okay, so everybody in Hawaii always gets hooked up with a job from their friend, their family. Somebody hooks them up with a job someplace. All right.
Yeah.
So hear me out. All right. So when you're running for governor, and I'm hoping I apologize. So this is an endorsement from the Hawaii comedian James Mane to vote for Josh Green as governor. But I was hoping that maybe there was a position somewhere in that office for me. Maybe like state jester or maybe I can help you with your speeches. Add some little punchlines here and there, or maybe I can run an arts department in Chinatown. Maybe like performing arts.
Hey, well, look, I may be looking for a new lieutenant governor when I leave office too. So hey, I like the ticket because you're gonna keep me looking sane. So that could be really a good thing.
You can say whatever you want. I'll make sure nobody comes up to you and slaps your face. I will stop them. So it's 2 jobs. I'll also be security. Look at that. You have your own bouncer.
Yes, I do appreciate it. You know what? The world needs a little bit of state comedy. So you send your application over, and I will get it to my peeps.
Oh, come on now. See, that's how I know you. Locals don't send in applications. You say, come on, hook me up, bro. Hook me up.
Yeah, so you got to just yell really loud when I'm sign waving.
Can. That's all you got to say. Can.
Yeah.
Okay. You guys heard that live. He said can. So also got his phone number if you guys
I'm not saying no
proof.
can also. I got relatives in Hilo, but can for sure.
Can. Boom. All right. See, Mom, I'm working for the state. There you go. They're very disappointed I became a comedian, but now that I'm working for the state, there you go. Can. I appreciate you sharing your time with myself and the listeners of the podcast. I know Fele said you had a short amount of time, and we obviously gone over. But a lot of people that are chiming in the comments, I don't know if you see them. Would you be okay if I pop a few of them up, or?
Yeah, do it, man. And while you're doing that, let me give a shout out to your mom. She seems to have raised a relatively sweet boy, and that's a good thing. Oh. That's about all a mother can expect and hope for.
Appreciate it. So this average girly says she loves working from home. It's the best. She also is a Steeler fan.
Yes, and I like her a lot because Steeler Nation lives strong here in the Lieutenant Governor's office. I got to say that.
Yeah. Tamua Tuine is chiming in. He's saying he's going to give you a call tonight.
Uh-oh. So he's asking me out?
He's going to call the doctor. No, he's calling a doctor, so he probably has like something he wants you to take a look at. Like,
he
maybe
probably
I can
has
show
BD.
You something over here. That might be the funniest thing I heard in this podcast the months that I've been doing it. Let's see here.
Depends what BD you have as to what humor. Yes.
Creative arts could help support more venues and trainings for artists like comedians. Tax relief for operators who allow artists venues. Ooh, that's the most political thing that's happened on this episode right there.
And I can actually tell you, there's a friend of mine named Austin he's a big deal. He's actually spends a lot of time in Hawaii. He's the one that's working on the ballot initiative in California to guarantee funding of the arts. And I have a feeling he's going to really press me hard, and I would love that. I think arts are really critically important. I wrote a novel when I was younger, and just to have an outlet like that, it's a good thing for people. It helps kids learn to, express themselves, and whether it's comedy or music, I just love the idea of music being a big part of Hawaii's future, especially the music that, Tavana's music was just incredible, and we got now the ukulele in chief Ige, so we're doing it.
I agree with that 100% because I remember living in Pittsburgh. A lot of people don't know that there's a very prestigious culinary art school in there. You know, when I lived in Pittsburgh, there's an art section. A few of the top comedians are from Pittsburgh. Steve Byrne, Billy Gardell, are both from Pittsburgh. So we can get like a little section in downtown for arts. Hey, why not?
I think so.
Okay, so appreciate it. And thank you for your time. Hope you had a good time in the podcast.
I did.
We're gonna hopefully. I mean, we can do this again. I mean, when the debate happens, man. If you want a moderator there, you know, if they're looking for somebody and they're tired of the same old people from the news that are doing it, get some comedians up there. It could be interesting. Get the ratings up.
Yes, because God knows the ratings are going to suffer when you're looking at a bunch of politicians talking on TV. You know, I'll try to say something crazy just to get people awake.
Well, I think there's a few people that's going to be there that are already going to say crazy things. I would say before you debate, make sure you get a good stretch and try to work on some MMA skills because the debates might get pretty tricky this year.
Yeah, Jamie was talking about how she wants to see that. I would have to say BJ would jack me up if we got into a scrap, but you know, it's all love and respect.
Yeah. And I love and I respect you so much. Thank you for your time. Thank you to your staff for making this happen. Hopefully we can do this again.
You bet. I'm there.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Aloha.
Aloha. Thank you so much to Lieutenant Governor Dr. Josh Green. Thank you guys for tuning in. That was awesome. He's such a good sport. Very funny guy. Thank you guys for tuning in. We're going to wrap this up. Got to get ready for a show tonight at Slack Key Lounge. If you guys are still listening, make sure you show up. Let's turn it up. Is that what I want to say? I want to turn it up. If you guys have any more questions for me, let's fire away. Let's see. Comedy Corner is saying court jester James Money, right? Run for the state. Lieutenant Governor / security guard. I'm down with that. Mane and Sane ticket. Or would it be Mane and Sane ticket? Or Maine and Sane? Oh, say it fast enough. Maine and Sane. Good to see you, Alexi. Alexi is, those of you that don't know, Alexi Remnick, who's in New York City now, I don't know when he started, but when I started out doing stand-up comedy, he was in the Hawaii scene doing stand-up comedy. We were at the open mics. Really nice guy. He's saying, New York City supports the arts. Also nice to have a bunch of billionaires sponsoring stuff, right? Let's get the Hawaii Arts Oligarchs. Well, that could be the name. I should have told him that before he hung up. There you go. Awesome, dude. Thanks. All right, cool. So I appreciate all you guys tuning in. Yeah, big boys on top. Yeah. Thank you, Amy. Give a shout out to Amy, who's the biggest fan of this podcast. I guess maybe we should say it. Amy is a part owner of this podcast. That'd be cool. I don't know. What do you think, Amy? So like how when somebody donates to the state to get the stadium built, the person who donates the most gets the stadium named after them. So the podcast is majority of sponsorship is from. Oh well, actually, Oahu Golf Apparel did donate a lot, but okay. So the Amy Frazier podcast, but appreciate you, Amy. Thank you so much for tuning in all the way from Texas. Aloha to Alexi in New York City. Big ups to Rona in Virginia. Kevin on the windward side. Average girly from downstairs. So let's see. Tumua Tuine on the west side. Giving shout outs to everybody. Huni Matoko Uso from the A-Town. We got Christian Ulufanua. Shout out. Who else we got shout outs to? Johnny Rocks Hollywood. Yeah, apologize. Oh, Timmy Matos, Pennsylvania. I love Pennsylvania. Michael C. Hall. Nice haircut. Yeah. I like this guy. He says it with his chest. Respect. Yeah, I mean, it's funny because talking to Lieutenant Governor before we went on there, and Lieutenant Governor Josh Green, Dr. Josh Green, is exactly what you saw. From what I was telling him, I was like, all right, if I say something if I go too far, and I was gonna try to give him a safe word, but he was like, oh no, don't worry about it. Yeah, I guess he's done public speaking for so long that yeah. And it's funny because it's the same thing with somebody said they're going to interview me, or I'm sure it's with other stand-up comedians as well. And people say, oh, we're gonna have these questions. I'm like, yeah, cool, all right, whatever's. We are comfortable and confident enough with answering exactly the way we respond to that question. I know when I did the Guys with Issues podcast, we had show notes, articles that we would discuss. That's things that are going on in Hawaii news and some stupid news in Florida, because that's the only place stupid news come from. Sorry, Krusty Pete, but a lot of times they would tell me not to read it because they would like to tell me the story and hear my reaction to the story. So I think he's probably the same way. Maybe we could get him to do some stand-up comedy. I mean, they just put out a video of Governor Ige playing the guitar the ukulele with Jake Shimabukuro, and they were getting down. So maybe be a comedy show, Comedy Kanikapila, with Lieutenant Governor Dr. Josh Green. I'll go see that because the dude's pretty funny. Even before we got on, dude was pretty funny. So, yeah, if you guys are voting this year, think about who you're voting for. Think about what the things that you want your governor to be. For me, I like him. And it doesn't mean I don't like the other people that are running for governor. I'm not saying anything bad about the others. It's just the reason I like Josh Green is because his concern is, as he mentioned in the podcast, was communication. No more walls. Let's be open with our ideas and our thoughts. Nothing is impossible. We could all work together. And he's bought into the Aloha spirit and the Ohana style. And he's also works in the health industry. During the pandemic, some people may not have agreed with the things he was saying, but he was putting out the information. Some people may not agree with it, but for me, I like to know, what's going on. Even if you didn't want to follow his information, you wanted to go get stats from wherever you got stats from. Reading stats doesn't say how you feel. He read the stats and he told you he recommends. He hopes you do, get vaccination. But really, at the end of the day, it was up to you. There's these cigarette commercials that come on. I'm going to hate that commercial. I mean, I don't smoke cigarette. It doesn't affect me. It's the same way. If somebody's giving you the stats on the numbers, they're recommending that you do this. Maybe that was a bad, what do you call that, example. But, that's what I'm saying. I mean, I liked him because he put out that information. I think if we shared information and have people do the research and see if the information is correct, that's, I don't have to agree with how you feel on something, but it doesn't mean I hate you. We disagree, but I still respect you as a person who has their own thoughts and their own feelings. All right. So that was I got my moment of zen, I guess. Anyways, don't forget performing tonight. Those of you guys that are watching live, or come out tonight at Slack Key in Hawaiian Brian's. The doors open at 7. There's a great lineup of comics, so come on down. Also, Friday, April 1st? Yep. Friday, April 1st, April Fool's Day, I'll be performing in a showcase with Comedy U at Blue Note Waikiki. So if you don't make it tonight, come out to Blue Note. It'll be a great time. Yes. Amy, you are here in spirit. Thank you so much. I appreciate you plenty much. And, you know, I will get you that video. I'm editing, I'm cutting out clips so that I can post on social media. As soon as I tried to put it on YouTube, but a video like that takes that's as long as an hour. It's like 2-3 hours long to upload. I was like, man, why does it take that long to upload a video on YouTube? So I'm gonna try to see if I can put it behind what is that called? Patreon. See how long it takes to upload there. But I will give you the link so you can see the show because, you know, as being our #1 sponsor, you deserve it. All right, so. Thank you, Amy. All right, thank you guys for listening to the episode. I really appreciate you guys being in this, sharing your time with me on Tuesday, March 29th, 2022. On that note, ladies and gentlemen, I am out of here.
Intensify the gleaming in my eye. The Pagalolo, it be lifting me up high.